Mapping an abstract operator in an infinite dimensional space involves an interaction of points that lacks a single finite focal point. By introducing the complex plane, we provide a geometric coordinate system to organize these mappings. In this breakdown, we will define analytic functions of operators, establish the strict mathematical link between the resolvent and the spectrum, and execute the proofs found on pages 386 through 394 of Kreyszig's text. In a finite-dimensional space, identifying an operator's eigenvalues is a straightforward algebraic process. You compute the roots of a characteristic polynomial, and the resulting discrete points give you the spectrum. In an infinite-dimensional Banach space, characteristic polynomials lose their utility entirely. The geometry becomes too complex, leaving us without a basic algebraic tool to locate the operator spectrum. Because simple algebra is insufficient for these higher dimensions, complex analysis provides the necessary tools to identify the spectrum. We begin by defining our environment, a complex Banach space, denoted as X, and a bounded linear operator, T, acting upon it. This diagram illustrates our primary tool. We take our operator T, introduce a complex parameter lambda, and construct the resolvent function, R lambda, defined as the inverse of T minus lambda times the identity operator. The values of lambda dictate the behavior of this function. The spectrum, denoted as sigma t, is strictly defined as the set of all complex numbers lambda, where this operation fails to yield a bounded inverse operator. To prove how R lambda behaves outside of that spectrum, we rely on 19th century mathematics. Specifically, we require the Cauchy integral formula and the established rules governing analytic or holomorphic functions. The utility of spectral theory is realized when we stop treating the resolvent as a series of isolated operators and analyze it as a single continuous analytic function dependent on the parameter lambda. Kreyszig's definition 7.51 establishes the criteria for local holomorphy when dealing with a vector-valued function. This split screen shows a logistical discrepancy. Traditional calculus applies to regular scalar numbers in the complex plane on the left, while the resolvent maps into the abstract space of bounded linear operators on the right. We test the operator using two elements, a specific vector x from the Banach space and a bounded linear functional f from the dual space. Applying the operator to the vector x and then feeding that result into the functional f collapses the abstract operator geometry down into a simple scalar-valued function, which we call h of lambda. If we prove that this resulting scalar function h of lambda is analytic in the classical sense, we establish that the parent operator function is also mathematically sound and analytic. Theorems 7.5-2 and 7.5-3 utilize this exact probing method to prove the resolvent is holomorphic at every single point within the resolvent set. Looking at this representation of the complex plane, we select a regular value, lambda 0, located safely inside the resolvent set. Around this point, we construct a formal Taylor series expansion for the resolvent, represented by this power series. The absolute radius of convergence for this series is defined strictly as r equals 1 over the norm of the resolvent operator at lambda 0. This circle of convergence will continue to expand outward until it collides with the boundary of the spectrum. Consequently, the physical distance from lambda 0 to the spectrum, denoted as delta of lambda, must be greater than or equal to this radius of convergence. The resolvent function is therefore analytic throughout the resolvent set, with a radius of convergence that is limited only by the distance to the spectrum. This brings us to Theorem 7.5-4, which states that the spectrum of a bounded linear operator on a complex Banach space is never empty. We prove this by contradiction. This grid visualizes a hypothetical scenario where the spectrum, sigma of t, is completely empty. Without a spectrum to halt the radius of convergence, the resolvent, r of lambda, must be analytic everywhere. In complex analysis, this is an entire function. We analyze the geometric series representation of the resolvent for extremely large values of lambda, specifically where the absolute value of lambda exceeds the norm of the operator t. As lambda approaches infinity, the denominator in our series dominates the expression, forcing the norm of the resolvent operator to shrink entirely to 0. By Liouville's theorem, any bounded entire function must be a constant. Because our function drops to 0 at infinity, that constant must be 0 everywhere. But if r lambda is exactly 0, then the basic identity equation, The identity operator equals t minus lambda I times r lambda evaluates to 0. The identity operator cannot equal 0. Since the identity operator cannot equal 0, the assumption of an empty spectrum is logically impossible. Complex analysis proves that every bounded operator has a non-empty spectrum. With the existence of the spectrum guaranteed, Theorem 7.5-5 provides Gelfand's spectral radius formula to measure it. This diagram illustrates the spectral radius, r sub sigma of t. It is defined geometrically as the smallest closed disk centered at the origin that contains the entire spectrum. We derive this using the Hadamard formula for the radius of convergence, focusing on the limit as n approaches infinity. The exact geometric size of the spectrum is intimately linked to the asymptotic growth of the operator's norm over infinite iterations. To test this formula, we apply it to a specific case from the text, the nilpotent operator. A nilpotent operator is defined by a strict condition. After a certain number of iterations, m, the operator becomes exactly 0. T to the m equals 0. When we insert a nilpotent operator into Gelfand's formula, the series truncates at m. Therefore, the limit as n goes to infinity is perfectly 0. For a nilpotent operator, the spectral radius evaluates to 0, which forces the entire spectrum to exist as a single point at the origin. We can now pull back and view this theoretical framework as a single geometric construct. Here, the solid island represents the compact spectrum, bounded precisely by the glowing ring of the spectral radius. The open ocean surrounding this island is the resolvent set, the region where our operator functions behave perfectly and analytically. By drawing contour integrals safely in this analytic ocean around the spectral islands, we isolate and evaluate specific operator behaviors without triggering mathematical singularities. We have successfully used complex analysis to describe abstract, infinite-dimensional operators as structured geometric spaces. These abstract proofs correspond to physical realities in quantum mechanics. Now that we have established the geometric boundaries of the spectrum, we are equipped to tackle the properties of compact operators, leading directly into the Rees-Schauder theory in Chapter 8. While real variable linear algebra models the mechanics of finite systems, the analysis of infinite dimensional operators depends on these complex variable techniques.